All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a deep dive into mastering the care of the notoriously finicky Delta Maidenhair Fern. We're going to break down exactly what makes this gorgeous plant tick and give you the clear, structured info you need to go all the way from a beginner to an absolute expert. Listen, if you've ever owned one of these beauties, you definitely know the heartbreak of a crispy brown frond. It is literally the #1 complaint. You buy this lush, gorgeous fern, bring it home, and bam! A week later, it looks like a wire brush. But don't worry, because today, we're learning the exact formula to prevent that. There's actually a precise science to keeping this plant happy, and honestly, it's way easier than you think once you see the data. We've structured this masterclass to take you from basic survival all the way to expert-level care. We'll be hitting the notorious Delta Maidenhair, golden rules of water and light, perfecting soil and humidity, feeding, repotting and propagation, diagnosing problems and pests, and finally, pro tips and plant rescues. Section 1, the notorious Delta Maidenhair. Meet the diva. Okay, let's get right into this. To conquer this stunning, but let's be honest, intimidating plant, you first have to understand her origins. The name itself is actually really fascinating. It earns that delta title from the broadly triangular shape of its fronds, just like the Greek letter delta. Native to the deeply shaded, humid forest understories of South America, this plant is built from hundreds of tiny fan-shaped leaflets on these beautiful signature wiry black stems. It truly offers the softest-looking foliage of any houseplant. Well, if you can keep it happy, that is. Section 2, golden rules, water and light, the absolute non-negotiables. Seriously, if you only take away one lesson from this entire explainer, let it be these fundamental rules, because this is where 90% of plant parents fail. 0. Yup, that is exactly how many times you are allowed to let the soil dry out. Not even once, not even for a single afternoon. Nearly every dead maidenhair out there died from a single forgotten week. So, the moment the very top of the soil feels barely dry while everything below is still damp, that's your cue. It's time to water. Now, the real trick here is finding the balance, because soggy soil, just as dangerous as dry soil. Underwatering gets you those dreaded crispy edges that just shatter when you touch them, while overwatering suffocates the roots and causes yellowing from the base up. To solve this, bottom watering for 15 minutes is the absolute best way to soak the root ball evenly without rotting the crown. You just set the pot in an inch of room temperature water, let it drink its fill, and then drain it completely. Alongside water, we have to talk about light. These little leaflets are barely more than a single cell thick. That means just 30 minutes of direct afternoon sun will ruin them permanently. They'll literally bake. You want bright, indirect light only. Setting them in an east window pulled back a foot or two, or right up against a north window is absolutely your fern's sweet spot. Section 3, perfecting soil and humidity, mastering the climate. So, now that you've mastered the golden rules, let's optimize the environment for some lush, rapid growth. Because the soil and air around your fern, that's its lifeblood. If you're looking to repot, this DIY soil mix is a total game changer. Why? Well, the cocoa coir retains that essential moisture we now know we desperately need, while the perlite and fine bark provide the vital aeration those fine, thread-like roots need so they don't suffocate. And pro tip, coir is way better than peat moss here. If it ever does accidentally dry out, it re-wets easily, whereas peat actually repels water once it gets dry. And then there's the air. Your fern is going to thrive in an ideal humidity range of 50 to 70%. The problem is most of our heated homes in the winter sit at a desert-like 20 to 30%, which practically guarantees crispy tips. This is exactly why a bathroom with a window is pretty much the perfect habitat, giving it that steamy, humid air it constantly craves. Okay, get ready for a truth bomb that shatters a major houseplant myth. Misting raises humidity for roughly 10 minutes, then the water evaporates and you are right back where you started. Everyone reaches for the spray bottle to fix dry air, but guys, misting doesn't work. It raises humidity for just a few minutes, and even worse, water droplets sitting on those dense fronds can actually encourage fungal leaf spot. If you really want to fix dry air, invest in a real humidifier or place the plant in a beautiful glass cloche. Moving on to Section 4, feeding, repotting, and propagation, advanced care. Once your plant is surviving and thriving in its new climate, it's time to graduate to some intermediate care techniques. So, ferns are extremely light feeders. The real risk here is always overdoing it and accidentally scorching the roots. Notice the specific dosage we recommend. quarter-strength, balanced liquid fertilizer monthly from April to September. Honestly, I'd rather you underfeed this plant for a whole year than give it one massive dose. Oh, and a huge rule to remember. Absolutely never apply fertilizer to a dry root ball. When it is time to repot, which should be roughly every 2 years once you see roots poking out the bottom, pot selection is completely critical. Skip the terracotta, I mean it. Unglazed clay wicks moisture out through its walls and dries out way too fast for a plant that needs to stay constantly damp. Instead, go for shallow, glazed ceramic or plastic pots to really lock that moisture in. Now, if your plant is getting massive and you want more of them, propagation is incredibly rewarding. Dividing the creeping rhizome in early spring works wonders. You'll want to rinse the soil from the rhizomes. You can see the natural clusters, cut cleanly between them with a knife, pot the divisions with the rhizome right at the surface, and immediately tend them with a plastic bag to trap that humidity. The secret here is to take large sections, don't just pull off tiny little scraps, and keep them highly humid while they recover. And remember, never ever bury the rhizome. It needs to sit right on top of the soil. Section 5. Diagnosing problems and pests. Expert troubleshooting. Look, even the experts run into issues sometimes. So let's figure out how to visually diagnose the common problems your maidenhair might face without completely panicking. So many new owners completely panic and grab the insect spray the second they see these little brown spots under the leaves. But hold on a second, these are just sori, tucked safely under a folded flap of the leaf called a false indusium. This is just the fern's natural, ancient way of reproducing, using spores instead of seeds. Nothing to worry about. And this is why learning to read your plant is absolutely crucial, so you don't accidentally treat a perfectly healthy, reproducing fern for a bug infestation. Look at the difference. Spores follow a neat, repeating pattern strictly on the outer margins of the leaflets. Scale insects, on the other hand, they're randomly scattered, they usually favor those black stems, and they scrape right off with a fingernail. Knowledge really is power here. Finally, Section 6, Pro Tips and Plant Rescues, the ultimate hacks. Let's wrap up this masterclass with some rapid-fire pro tips and, honestly, a secret weapon for saving a seemingly dead fern. If your fern dries out completely and turns into a sad pot of brown wire, whatever you do, do not throw it in the trash. This dramatic full cutback rescue relies entirely on the surviving rhizome hiding under the soil. Literally chop every dead frond off its soil level, soak it, give it super high humidity, and just wait. That creeping rhizome is remarkably tough. It will often push out an entirely new flush of gorgeous fiddleheads in just 3 to 6 weeks. It's like magic. To really cement your expert status, stick to these simple habits that keep the foliage looking absolutely pristine. Bottom watering on a fixed schedule, like every 3 to 4 days, totally removes the guesswork. Collecting rainwater prevents those awful brown burn tips caused by the fluoride and chlorine in tap water. And seriously, keep your hands off. The leaflets are so delicate they bruise instantly. If they get dusty, just rinse them off gently in the shower. Oh, and definitely move them away from radiators before heating season kicks in. So you now have the ultimate blueprint. You know the golden rule of never ever letting the soil dry, you know exactly how to master the humidity, and you even know how to bring a dried out plant back from the dead. You are fully equipped to keep those fronds lush, green, and soft. So the only question left is, now that you possess the exact formula to conquer the impossible houseplant, are you ready to bring a Delta Maidenhair Fern into your home?